How's it going, doggy people? I hope you all are doing well. Today we're looking at This Will Stop Your Dog Jumping. So we're learning how to stop our dogs from jumping. Alright.
Bit of a nightmare for his owners, just how badly he's jumping up people. Everyone he meets while he's out on walks, in the home.
Now, you know what could have helped that? Is the person that's holding
up people.
The leash can, pull the dog away, pull them to their side, keep them engaged. This person can walk away. Every time the dog jumps up, you can put gentle pressure on the dog so that they have 4 feet on the floor, and reward. And every time the dog continues to have 4 feet on the floor, continue to reward. And then over time, you can fade that away, and this person can start, if they want to help you, then they can start, slowly engaging with the dog. Avoiding eye contact at first, because that can make the dog excitable. They can put one hand down, let the dog sniff it. This person can reward for them not jumping. This person can slowly bend down, start petting their chest. If the dog wants to jump again, they can walk away, and this person will have the leash, which is very helpful, to keep the dog from following the person. So just a few tips right off the bat.
Everyone he meets while he's out on walks, in the home. Go over and meet Matt like I would anybody.
So again, we see change. Oh, what a cute little dog. So we've changed the leash from on his flat buckle collar, which is great, to a slip lead, which is how he's going to work. He's going to use correction because the regular flat buckle collar was not enough correction. But this is, without him having to use a lot of physical manipulation. So it looks like he's doing more, it looks like he's doing less than he actually is.
Coming into my home or we're meeting in
public, look like magic.
If Bertie makes a bad decision.
So you see where the slip lead is over his flat buckle collar? Unnecessary. You don't even need the slip lead. He was fine on the flat buckle collar. You can even teach this in a harness. But the slip lead works because it's tight, it's around the neck, it's behind the skull. There's, as I always say, there's nerve endings here, there's arteries, blood flow, trachea, esophagus, breathing, thyroid glands, all that. But he likes to use this because it's leverage. It's like if you've ever seen a horse in a snaffle bit, and I'll put a picture up, versus a horse with a leverage bit, you have however many pounds of pull, one to one with snaffle bit. 1 pound of pull per 1 pound of pressure. With the leverage bit, the point of leverage is you can have 1 pound of pull per 3, 5, 10 pounds of pressure. For some of them, it's probably even more than that. That's what I feel that this slip lead does versus this flat buckle collar. 1 per 1 pound of pull, 1 pound of pressure. To this, maybe 3 or 5 pounds of pressure. The more you pull on it, the more discomfort it causes the dog. It's rounded. It's not flat. So it's not as comfortable. And it's also tight. And it's locked here. It's a slip lead. It's a choke collar of some sort, of rope material. Just like people call the choke chain a slip chain, a slip collar. It ends up choking the dog, or it tightens around a very important part of the body.
You're going to physically correct him, pair it with a verbal correction.
So he puts the pair in there, so it's kind of cute, but he's telling you he's going to correct the dog and pair it with a verbal.
Address it swiftly but fairly.
So, swiftly but fairly. Unnecessary. Absolutely unnecessary. He set the dog up for failure, didn't even try. And now this dog is confused, it hurts. This is so unnecessary.
But fairly.
Fairly. That's not fair. There's nothing fair about that. 2 corrections.
Yes.
Oh, the dog sits and now he gets food. It doesn't matter. You can do this without this correction. If you were to walk up, not get as close to this guy, maybe stop right here. The dog goes to the end of the leash and he's still maybe a foot or so or 6 inches away from this guy. The dog is maybe going to walk on their back feet, the back legs, and try to jump on him, but they don't make contact as soon as their feet are 4 on the floor. Then you can mark it and reward. And the dog doesn't have to get corrected at all. Or the dog goes and jumps and you walk away. You come back, the dog's going to say, oh, okay, yeah, it takes more time. It benefits the dog more. This doesn't benefit the dog. It benefits the human. Unnecessary.
Yes, good boy.
Yeah, he's going to sound really nice. Good boy. Afterwards, I just yanked at your throat. I just popped you with a leash and caused pain. And yes, you didn't yelp. You didn't fight back. You didn't try to redirect on me. You're not bleeding. So it's okay. And because I gave food, that undoes, in the human's mind, this correction I just did. That says that the correction I just did is okay because now I give you food.
So I corrected it swiftly.
You didn't need
to. Then
he
offered me a different behaviour, which I paid him and rewarded him for. Let's practice that drill again. Let's see
dragging him away.
Where we get to.
With the slip
One
lead.
correction so far. Same again.
Didn't need it.
This time,
so now he's avoiding. We don't want a dog avoiding someone. He's avoiding this guy. He's avoiding this guy. That's a smart dog, because the dog, unknowing to him, has learned a different behavior than what he thought he was teaching it. Always make sure you're aware and you listen to the dog. The dog will tell you they are learning something other than what you think you're teaching them. He thinks he's teaching the dog not to jump. This dog is learning, when I was near this guy, I got corrected. So I'm going to leave this guy alone. I'm going to go back to dad over here, unless this is dad. He's going to go towards the camera guy.
Avoiding Matt. Better?
Better? No, that's not better. We don't want a dog to necessarily avoid a person. That can lead to the opposite, where when they're coming up and they're super friendly, now they don't want anything to do with you and they're fearful of you. I mean, if a dog is fearful, I mean, fine, we don't want him to necessarily say hi to everybody. He doesn't have to. But we don't want him to necessarily become defensive, which he can learn to be. I'm not saying that that's, going to happen, but the dog now avoids people and becomes fearful.
Hello, good boy.
The dog is very unsure. He gave a sit. This guy, I'm sure, is holding eye contact, which can be intimidating. A lot of people don't know that. He's also, I just realized, wearing sunglasses, so that's not helpful, because the dog should, if you can teach the dog that eye contact is a good thing with humans, but without pairing it in its own lesson, then it can be very intimidating and confusing if the dog cannot see your eye contact, especially if you're the one working with them.
If he displayed a behavior that he was corrected for.
So he didn't, he's rewarding. It's implied that he's rewarding, but he cut before he did.
There we go. If he displayed a behavior.
So I would have rather seen him show that he's rewarding the dog, because I feel like that sticks with people more, because they're going to forget to reward the dog. They're going to see the correction. They're going to correct because it's so easy to correct a behavior. We've been reinforced with that, but we're not reinforced enough to pay afterwards or to reinforce a behavior positively.
Behavior that he was corrected for, that behavior happened less frequently.
So he's talking about positive punishment, where you add something to decrease the behavior. He added the leash pop, something the dog doesn't like. The dog stopped. He offered a different behavior, and the dog sat and rewarded. He can take out the positive punishment. He didn't need that. He could just walk the dog over. The dog is still a foot away from the person, no ability to jump up and get mud on their clothes, and as soon as the dog sits on their own, then reward for that. And then you don't have to correct the dog.
That he's being rewarded for, so that behavior is happening more frequently.
So he acts like the correction here was not necessary at all. He's giving you the equation of the dog goes over, does something you don't want, correct him, they give you a different behavior, reward them. You can take out the correction altogether, and your dog will probably have obviously a better time, but also will probably learn to try other behaviors more often. A lot of times if you correct the dog for doing a behavior, they're going to not try other behaviors. They're afraid to try different behaviors with you.
Correction, you address it swiftly but fair.
So all this could have been prevented. He didn't need the correction, in my opinion. That's just what I see. So I'm just out here trying to give dogs voice, pointing out what I see versus what he's telling you, giving you a different point of view of it. If you liked it, then you can like the video or dislike it. You can subscribe if you want, if you like this content. Let me know what you'd like to see next time. And until then, stay positive.